Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode corporate filings, and today we're diving into Papa John's proxy statement. It's a big document, but we will decode it for you. It looks like this year they're asking shareholders to approve an amendment to their incentive plan. So basically, they want to give themselves more shares. Let's see if the numbers add up or if it's just another slice of corporate greed. This proxy statement is for their annual meeting on May 1, 2025. Stockholders get to vote on important stuff like who's on the board of directors and whether to approve the company's executive compensation. They are also asking to approve Ernst & Young as their independent auditors and to approve an increase to the amount of shares under an incentive plan. This year, like last year, it's a virtual meeting so you can attend from your couch. To participate, you'll need a 16-digit control number. The board has determined that 7 out of 8 directors are independent, meaning they don't have major ties to the company's management, which is usually a good sign for oversight. Todd Penegor, the CEO, isn't considered independent, but that's normal since he's running the show. They've got committees for audit, compensation, and corporate governance, all made up of independent directors. These committees help the board manage different types of risks like financial risks and those related to compensation and ethical conduct. Papa John's says they care about people, pizza, and the planet. They've published a corporate responsibility report talking about things like team member safety, human rights in their supply chain, and reducing their environmental footprint. The board has nominated 8 directors for election. The board is looking for a mix of skills, experience, and diversity. They also limit how many other public company boards their directors can serve on to keep them from being overcommitted. Here is a table that summarizes all the board members by age, skills, and demographics. Let's quickly jump there. This matrix shows each director's key skills like accounting, marketing, or international operations. It also shows how many have public company experience. Half of the nominees self-identify as being diverse based on gender, race, or ethnicity. Looking at a few of the nominees, Christopher Coleman has extensive financial and international experience. John Garrett brings financial expertise and insights into the retail and restaurant industries. Stephen Gibbs has considerable accounting and management experience. This is a summary table of how many shares are owned by directors, executives, and major shareholders. It's important to know if managers and the board have skin in the game or are just coasting. All the directors and current executive officers as a group own about 1.3% of the company's stock, so they have a share in the company's success. BlackRock, the Vanguard Group, and T. Rowe Price are the top 3 owners with considerable holdings in the company. Now, let's talk about executive pay. This section explains how Papa John's compensates its executives, including the named executive officers or NEOs. 2024 was a tough year for Papa John's. They faced weakened consumer demand and increased competition. Comparable sales at domestic restaurants were down and total revenues decreased by 4%. But they say they prioritized financial discipline and strong franchise partnerships and delivered $148 million in adjusted operating income. They have different things in the mix like base salary, which is just fixed cash, also annual cash incentive compensation, and long-term compensation. For the incentive compensation, they have restricted stock and also performance-based units. The graphic represents how much of the executive's compensation is tied to company performance. The new CEO, Todd Penegor, has a whopping 93% of his pay linked to performance. For the other named executive officers, that number is closer to 70%. This means if the company does well, they get paid well, and if it does not, then they get paid less. This is fairly similar to last year. The Management Incentive Plan, or MIP, is a cash incentive. Payout is based on hitting goals for adjusted operating income, North America comparable sales, and corporate responsibility initiatives. Unfortunately, the actual payout was only 67.1% of target because the company didn't hit its goals. Todd Penegor, the new CEO, has a base salary of $1 million. He also has a chance to earn a bonus and equity awards. He got a cash sign-on bonus for meeting some transition goals. They also have some policies and programs to make sure their compensation practices are in line with what's good for shareholders. For example, they have a clawback policy so they can recover compensation if executives do something wrong. And they prohibit employees and directors from hedging or pledging company stock. They want executives to own company stock to make sure they are incentivized to grow the company. The CEO should have stocks worth 3x the base salary, and other executives should have stocks worth 3x the base salary. This is where they are asking stockholders to approve adding 4.9 million shares to their 2018 Omnibus Incentive Plan. This plan lets them give stock options and other awards to employees. If stockholders don't approve it, Papa John's could run out of shares to use for these incentives. The only change they are making is to increase the number of shares. Everything else stays the same. To try to make this sound as palatable as possible, they point out many good features of the current plan, and the plan ensures that stock options are only given at a price that's equal to or higher than the current market value. Also, there is a maximum term on these options. The proxy has the text of the plan and details how it's administered. I would recommend that you read it carefully to see how it affects any equity you own. The board says they don't know of any other business to be conducted at the meeting. Okay, so what's the story here? Papa John's had a rough year. Sales were down, but they still had to pay up their CEO for transition goals. They want to increase the pool of shares to distribute to employees. From the looks of it, while there are some good things in the mix, performance wasn't really stellar. The share price is also down, meaning they're probably not meeting their long-term goals too. Also, the company had to sell a QC center. Kept the key to me is if they can show that the new Guy Penegor will lead to good results, then the executive comp might make sense. We need to see more of that. If you're a Papa John's shareholder, you need to decide if you trust management's plan for the future, and if increasing the share pool is the right way to incentivize them. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown useful, please give us a like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the corporate world.